And we are back with yet another coach chat. We are very happy to have today with us a guest coach called Katie Warriner from the UK. And Katie, well, we could say she is a mental coach, but her official title is a word that is much harder to pronounce. But I am confident that I will get it right the first time I say it. So, Katie is the Senior Performance Psychologist for Team GB Hockey. Wow, made it through. So before
Yeah.
before we get on board with the talk with the topic from Katie, as always, before we jump in, say hi in the comments. Let us know that you're here and where you are from, and make this as interactive as possible. So do not be shy. Ask your questions in the comments. We will put you on screen. If you want to be really on screen on camera, there's the link in the pinned comment on top with studiohockey.com/guest. And you can come on stage as well. But put your questions in the comments and we will bring them on screen and interrupt Katie when needed, or we do the questions at the end as well. So, Katie, the topic for today, confidence, a choice
Yeah.
and a skill. The floor is
Thank
all
you.
yours.
Thank you. And it's really great to be with you today. And what I really want to do, though, is get into a good conversation about this. So please, can you promise you'll stop me after like 30, 35 minutes to make sure that we leave enough time for conversation to hear from everyone sort of tuning in, because confidence is such a fascinating topic just to think about and to work with. I suppose just a brief bit of background. Can you see my slides all right? And shall I pop them across? Is
Here we
that
go.
working? Okay, great. So, yeah, I framed it. A mentor of mine once said to me a number of years ago, confidence is a choice. And in that moment, it was quite profound when you realize actually there's something I can do about it, that it's not just sort of what you're born with. You've either got a good level of confidence or not. It's something that we can train. And just a brief sort of background to myself. I've been very fortunate to work with a number of incredible teams from different sports, including GB men's hockey, across 3 Olympic cycles from different sports now, from canoe slalom, rugby, fencing, and all of them have sort of tested me and taught me things. And this sort of point now around confidence, I think the more we talk about it, the more we share together how we can make sense of it, normalize what it is to have doubts, that the best in the world have doubts, and confidence isn't necessarily the absence of those doubts, then I think we can just empower more and more people to properly follow their dreams. So today, we're definitely not going to get through all this. It could be like a full day workshop. But I really wanted to just share a few thoughts of what I've noticed and learned over the years about what confidence actually is and what it isn't. Actually, can it be trained? Why is it that so many people in various different ways struggle with confidence? And then just share some simple practical sort of tools that we can use to build our confidence and those of the athletes, the players that you coach. And I just need to kind of set some expectations before we go any further that, life is messy, people are complex, relationships are complex, and nothing is more true of confidence. So even if you look at across different performance domains, if you look at actors, for example, people that have achieved objectively, really high levels of performance. Tom Hanks here, talking about feeling like a fraud. Lady Gaga, one of the best-selling artists of all time, waking up in the morning and feeling like a loser kid, and how she talks to herself is a key part of how she builds her confidence. Ryan Reynolds, who I think, if I've got it right, has just helped to raise £18 million for the war effort over in Ukraine, also standing back and saying, to be honest, I sort of feel like I'm faking it. So wherever you look, different domains, I think actors are slightly more honest and open about it. People are achieving incredible things in spite of having relatively low confidence or moments of self-doubt. So I think we have to sort of face the reality that we all want our confidence to be rock solid the whole time, and particularly in elite sport, when you're working with coaches, players coming into a major tournament, you want to feel that you've got control of confidence because it can unlock such good decision making and such enjoyment and such performance. But the truth is much closer to the right-hand side, where all of us, no matter who we are and what we do, have days where we feel more confident, less confident. And I think that is really powerful in any team. So just have a think for yourself now, like if you were coming on screen now and you had to answer the question, what is confidence? Just have a think about how you'd answer that, because everybody's got their own definitions, and it's quite fascinating just to hear. If you Google confidence, you will get millions and millions of hits. So it seems like we all talk about it, we all care about it, but are we really clear on what it is? So in my work, I like to keep it super simple. So I think one of the simplest, most effective ways I've found to think about confidence is basically the answer to that question. And if the answer is yes, I feel confident. And if the answer is I'm not sure, then it's a little bit wobbly. And if the answer is no, then my confidence sort of drops a little bit. So if we keep it really, really simple, it's can I do it? Obviously, what it is a really big question that we'll come to. In terms of, whether it can be trained, I imagine that you guys, I'm preaching to the converted, because you wouldn't have come on this session if you didn't think it could be trained. There is phenomenal research that shows it can be trained. There's a fantastic book called How Confidence Works by Ian Robertson, and he gives so many fascinating studies that show the way we can train confidence. I'm not going to go into loads of depth now, but if you're interested in building up a more robust sense of that, the trainability of confidence, then please do check out his work. I think the bit that I just sort of wanted to get into the nuts and bolts of is why we sometimes struggle with confidence, and why so many players that I've seen over the years, and from all different cultures, it's very interesting the degree to which this is a British topic in particular, is just understanding these sort of myths that many people from all walks of life, from athletes I've worked with from America, Canada, from Central Europe, Southeast Asia, across all different cultures where I've been fortunate to work, I've found that there are these myths that people are sort of living with. And once we challenge those myths, it gives us a more robust path to seeing confidence as a choice and then a skill I can train. So I'm going to sort of walk through these a little bit as we go. But I thought I'd just start off with that first one that, even in the language, you would probably say yourself, and I just did a minute ago, do you feel confident? And so when we see confidence as a feeling, we're already on a bit of a tricky path, because the one thing about feelings, actually the two things about feelings, is firstly, they come and go. All our feelings come and go. And secondly, you can't really control your feelings. So given how important confidence is, as soon as we have a mindset that it's a feeling, we're already on a tricky path. There's another way of thinking about confidence, which I'll come to. I just want to jump perhaps to number 3. I'm sure that you guys as well have seen this, and perhaps you've experienced it yourself, where you're able to perform well in the presence of doubt. So this idea that I can't be confident if I have self-doubt means that you'll basically never truly be confident, because self-doubt is part of the human condition. There's a part of our brain that thinks without our permission, that is incredibly wired negatively. It's wired to think the worst, to focus on negatives, because that's what kept sort of cavemen and cavewomen ancestors alive. So self-doubt is an inherent part of being human to some degree. Confidence can be a very separate thing. So I can be confident in the presence of doubt, and that's a skill in and of itself. So I want to just jump into a few different options. If we had a bit more time, I think we'd try and go through at least these 7, if not more. But I really want to focus on the first couple, and then perhaps we just sort of pause on the presentation, open it up to debate, and we can follow wherever you guys are interested in. I'm sorry. When I woke up this morning, I actually didn't have any voice, so I'm glad I've got some voice to speak.
Very happy that it came back. Very happy that it came back.
If you ask yourself, where do you get your confidence from? Just pause for a minute to sort of try and answer that question in your head, or the players that you coach, where do they get their confidence from? The most common response from players that I've worked with is results. And then you've got